just know that sky is the limit, pretty much. The sky is the limit. Stop your limiting beliefs because it's not gonna get you anywhere. Hey guys, it's your girl Princess Jade coming at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about, I'm inspired by, the Joker, where he kept his notes and like all his diary. So, it's like, nah. But we're here to talk about the victim mindset versus the growth mindset. Alright? So for those like who've seen the video, I uploaded a video on that like last week, but I ended up taking it down because it was not a good video, like it didn't have like the standards that I wanted to have. So pretty much it's how to get out of the victim mindset and get into the growth mindset. So before we get started on that, we should know what the victim mindset is and what the growth mindset is. So what is the victim mindset? So it's a mindset in which one believes to be a victim of circumstances. And pretty much what that means is it's the people who believes that, they can't do anything about their lives and they're limiting it to their beliefs. You know what I mean? And then a growth mindset is a mindset in which one readily receives opinions and criticism and use that to their advantage. So before continuing on, so I'm gonna give you guys a list of like how to spot, someone that has a victim mindset and someone who has a growth mindset. So like we have 11 signs or 11 11 signs of people that has a victim mindset does. So number 1, it's people who constantly blame others or situations for their feelings of misery. It's pretty self-explanatory. And they often have a common philosophy of, no, life is against me. And then they think that others are purposefully and intentionally doing things to hurt them or to harm them. And oftentimes, number 4 is oftentimes they're cynical or pessimistic. They just, have this negative view on life, on everything. And then number 5, they often feel powerless to change their circumstance. So that's when, they believe that they don't have the power within themselves to like heal or to change whatever is happening to them, and they're just letting it happen continuously over and over again. And then 6, they enjoy sharing their tragic stories with other people. And you know what? I've been guilty of this even up to now, but the only thing that changed is that the reason why I share my tragic stories with people is because I want to, show them that even though you've went through all of that stuff, it's not impossible to get yourself out of that mindset. You know what I mean? But people who has a victim mindset and does this often share their tragic stories because they like the empathy, you know what I mean? Like they feed off the empathy that people give them when, they give them pity or they sympathize with them. And I'm not gonna lie, the only reason why I know is because I've done this while I was in a victim mindset, and I like what it feels when people empathize with me, But now I just share it so people can learn from it. And then 7, they have a habit of blaming and or accusing people that they hold close to their heart for like hurting them. So they never want to take accountability of their own pain. So they pinpoint it at the people around them, and because, they just never want to take responsibility or take accountability. And then 8, they constantly put themselves down. They always use words that will hurt themselves. So they would always like say derogatory terms for themselves. Doesn't have to be like to other people, it's to themselves. And then Number nine is they believe that they're targeted, like they're specifically targeted for mistreatment, even though it might not be the case, you know? And then number 10, they refuse to analyze their beliefs and improve their lives. So pretty much they're resistant to change. They don't want to look from within to actually like see what beliefs is holding them back and how they can improve their lives. And then number 11, even when things go right, they're always gonna find something to complain about, you know? So like you don't have to like check off everything to be considered as someone who has a victim mindset. You really only need like one or two at the least. But yeah, that's the terms of having a victim mindset. But what are the attributes of someone who has a growth mindset? So people with a growth mindset like believes that intelligence and talents can be developed. So that means to say is that with hard work and perseverance, they believe that they can achieve anything. They can, just achieve anything. And then, number 2, believes effort is the path to mastery. Just like what I said, adding on to number 1. Number 3 is they believe that mistakes are a part of learning. And this is like very true, because the best teachers are your mistakes, you know what I mean? Because like at least then you know how to like do it better or not making the same mistake the second time comes around or the third time comes around, however long it takes you to learn the lesson. And then number 4, they view failure as an opportunity to learn about themselves and the situation, and opportunity to find a better solution to things, It gives them an opportunity to upgrade. And then number 5, they believe that failures are temporary. So like pretty much the opposite of like how the people with the victim mindset pretty much just believes that everything is always going to fail. They're pessimistic. But people with a growth mindset believes or knows that, failures are only like temporary and it'll pass and you can learn something from that and brighter days are coming, And then number 6, they embrace challenges. They love challenges because it helps them grow and improve. They love challenging themselves and like trying out like new things, or going out there in the world doing whatever that challenges them, and they love it. And then 7, they welcome feedback. And like this is feedback means anything, you know what I mean? Opinions, criticisms, compliments, this, that, blah 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 blah. Like they accept all of that. They welcome feedback. It's like, hey, what can I do to better this part of like, whatever they're doing? What can I do to improve this? Do you have any feedback? Like they ask questions like that, and they welcome it because they know that it's either going to help them or it's something to take, to consider. And then number 8, they view other success as inspirational. And that makes a lot of sense, because when you want to be successful yourself, you don't want to drag people down. That's not the way to go about success, because law of karma says if you have that intention, it'll come back to you and you're never going to be successful. So you should totally just be, when you see someone being successful, be inspired by how they're being successful, because you will attract that energy. People with a growth mindset will attract that energy, you know what I mean? So now that we've listed all of that, we know now that we don't want to be in the victim mindset, but we want to transfer into the growth mindset, you know what I mean? But like, in order for us to actually get into the growth mindset, we have to know like, why do people even develop the victim mindset. Like, if it's not beneficial, why does it even happen? You know, like, people with a victim mindset most likely had a traumatic childhood or a traumatic past. Like, the reason why they feel, you know, out of control of their lives, even though technically they do, but they don't realize that because they were at a point in their lives where they genuinely didn't have control over their circumstances, because of their belief from their childhood that, you know, they don't have power to change anything in their surroundings. They've accepted whatever's happening to them and they just complain about it, and they don't know how to change it because they don't know they have the power, you know. So like, that's why they often get stuck in the same negative cycle of things, and they resistant to change. So like, now that we understand why it happens, or why some people have it, or most actually, how can we get out of it? You know, how can we get out of the how can we get out of the victim mindset? Like, the very first step to changing anything is to accept it as it is. So that means you have to acknowledge the fact that you have the victim mindset. You know, you can't resist it. You can't be like in denial, like, oh no, like, I don't have that, this and that, this is only because this and that. Like,
stop it, you're making excuses. If you
feel stagnant in your life and you want something to change, you have to change from within first. Because we cannot change anything unless we don't accept it as a part of our life. Because if we don't embrace it, how are we able to transform it? And then the second step is to heal, like, our past, like our traumatic events from childhood, or like your past from really like deep within. We have to come into terms with our traumas and accept it as something, as a fact that it happened to us, you know. And we have to forgive ourselves. You have to forgive yourself for not knowing better at that time, not knowing better in a way that I feel as though, like, people tend to beat themselves up for things that happened to them in the past. And some people will blame the perpetrator, but some people will blame themselves. And we kind of like beat ourselves up for that, like, throughout our life. And we let it happen to us, but we only let it happen because we didn't know better at that time. We didn't know our power. So like, you have to forgive yourself for not knowing your power back then, you know what I mean? And you have to forgive yourself, and you have to forgive the perpetrator, or whoever hurt you, or whoever caused your trauma, or whatever the trauma was, you know? Not because they deserve it, but because you owe it to yourself. Like, forgiveness is like a powerful thing. As cheesy as it sounds, it is. And like, if we don't forgive ourselves or others, we will always feel this bitterness in our heart, and that'll keep haunting us and like prevent us from going into the growth mindset. And then third is to stop taking everything so personal. You know, like, gonna say this like straight up, not everything is about you. And like, I know that sounds very like harsh, but like, you have to understand that some people act the way they do because of their own personal hardships. You know, some people are genuinely just nice, but it's, you know, everyone has their bad days, and depending on your level of consciousness, like, that bad day can turn your mood into a bad mood and affect people around them. And you could be one of the people that was affected. But you have to believe that, you know, maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe it's not about you, you know? Because, like, not everything is about you. Just be more empathetic and be more understanding for you to, like, really get out of this mindset. And then, like, it's only like 3 steps, but really it's more complex than that. But those are like the 3 most, you know, 3 foundations, if that even makes sense, because I know a foundation is like 1, but it's like the building blocks to like completely getting out of that mindset. Like, you really have to like start asking yourself some questions. So, and to like add on further to, what you call this, to like healing yourself and how to get out of the victim mindset, like a psychologist in psychologist Everett Worthington of Virginia Commonwealth University studied forgiveness for years. I'm getting this from a book that I have. So, like it's a model called REACH, like REACH, for forgiveness, which stands for R, recall the hurt. So, like, what they mean by recall the hurt is, recall the memory without much emotion. Just remember it as it is. And then, so this moves you from, like, relating to the offense from the point of view of the offender. So, like, I think what this means is, like, you're able to empathize, like, with the perpetrator, you'll be able to, like, understand why they do things the way they do, but it doesn't justify their actions. It just means you understand what's going on in their head. And then E, empathize. So, like, replace negative emotions with positive, other-oriented emotions. This involves empathizing, putting yourself in the shoes of the person who hurt you, and imagining what he or she might have been feeling. So, like, that's what I said, like, earlier, And then altruistic gift, the A. So give the gift of your forgiveness to the person who hurt you. Think about a time in your past when you wronged someone and that person forgave you. Will you remember how much freer you felt afterward? Like, that freedom is your gift to your offender. And then C, commit to the forgiveness that you experience. When you have forgiven, write a note to yourself about it. You can also cement the feelings by engaging in a ritual, such as completing a forgiveness certificate or writing a word symbolizing the offense in ink on your hand and then washing it off. Like, once again, these are just like, tricks and tips from the book on how to help you, like, forgive, And then H, hold on to the forgiveness. If or when you encounter the offender, you may feel anger and fear, and you may worry that you haven't really forgiven him or her. But that is just your body's response as a warning to be careful. Reread your notes to remind yourself that you have already laid aside the offense, If you want, you can go ahead and follow the steps from REACH, get the book Feel Better Fast and Make It Last, this and that. Do what you gotta do to make it better, to make yourself better. So I've already told you guys how to get out of the victim mindset. How can you grow into the growth mindset? You just have to be more open-minded with opinions. Stop taking things so personally. Accept criticisms and don't feel anything towards it. Accept it as something that is said. It's a feedback. People have the right to say whatever they want to say. Freedom of speech. But it doesn't mean that, it's always right, but doesn't mean they can't say it, It's up to you whether you want to accept it or not. If you don't. If it resonates, take it. And then just know that sky is the limit, pretty much. The sky is the limit. Stop your limiting beliefs because it's not gonna get you anywhere besides where you are right now. If you want to be able to be successful, then definitely sky is the limit. Don't put yourself in a box. Do your research and find what resonates with you, find what works for you, and grow, And pretty much, like, I'm just repeating the attributes of someone who has a growth mindset. Like, you just have to have that goal to grow into that mindset, and then just follow their traits. And then that's it. I know it sounds simple, or maybe it sounds difficult. I don't know, It's a journey, and the healing process takes a really long time. So it's okay, It's okay to be in that victim mindset, but it's better to be in the growth mindset. Like, if you really want your life to improve, or if you really want something to change in your life, you have to change your mindset first. You have to change, how you deal with things. Because negative things are gonna keep following you. Negative cycles, they're gonna keep following you if you don't change something, you know. So change from within and go from that, and sky's the limit. Alright, so thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys next week. Like, let me know like what you guys want to like know about life. Of course, like, I don't have all the answers, whatever that is, but I'll tell you guys the best that I can in the way that I understand it, in the way that helped me. So don't forget to love unconditionally, and I love you guys. So peace out.